Hi, this is David Gawley from Pentagon Solutions, and we're having a look at Revit Architecture 2009. And one of the really cool features in Revit Architecture is the conceptual modeling functionality, and we do this by creating masses. And you can see on the screen on the left hand side I'm looking at my floor plan level 0. It's going up to 24 levels, and I have a quick sketch of an outline for building. This is going to represent the bottom, this is going to represent the top. On the right hand side I simply have a schedule that is going to be the schedule of my mass areas. So when I create my conceptual design, we go to create mass, and I'm going to call the mass building. I'm going to go and create a solid form blend. I'm going to use this construction line here, that's going to be the base. I'm going to go to edit top, and the top is going to be sitting at 96 meters, and that's going to be the top. So when I finish the sketch and finish the mass, you'll get to see this is going to represent my building. So what we can do with that is we can look at the building and say, well, let's add in our mass floors. We can select each level and hit OK. On the right hand side, the schedule for our floors will actually appear. So we get the exterior surface, we get the floor area, floor perimeter, and floor volume, etc. So we can actually start doing our space planning. But what happens if we wanted to edit this? We select the mass and go into edit. Say if I go into the plan and say I want to create a void extrusion, that's going to be up 20 meters. So I create where my extrusion is going to be. I hit finish sketch and finish mass, and you'll get to see that the actual figures will change on my schedule because it's live in real time. It's going to update. But if we want to take this conceptual design forward into our working drawings, well, we've got simple tools under massing. I can then go in and say, let's create my floor by face. Pick up all my floors and go create floors. I can say, create my roof by face. Go to create roof. We could have a look and say, well, let's have a look at our exterior walls. Let's create a wall by face. Say it's finished face interior. Create a wall here, here, and around here. And say the front of the building is going to be a curtain system, so we can go curtain system by face. We can select the interior and exterior components that we want to represent as the curtain system. Again, a bit tricky. You can use your tab key and it'll go through cycle through the selection. So I'm going to create system. Give it about 10 seconds to calculate. It's got a lot of data to have a look at. That's created my current system grid. I can take my mass floors off, and that's it created. And very easily we can go now to any level and we have our working floor plans. But let's look at these floor plans. Let's quit out of the mass schedule and have a look at the floor plans. I'm down at level 0, and say I wanted to create my stairwell for the whole building. So if I go into modeling, I can say let's create some stairs. But if we have a look at the stair properties, we can say this is a multi-story stair and it goes up to the 23rd floor. Our base is at level 0 and our top level is at level 1, but it will make that multi-story based on those two conditions between level 0 and level 1 up to the 23rd floor. So let's quickly put in our staircase. We can change our railing type. I'm happy enough with the default. I'm going to hit finish sketch and then have a look at the 3D view. We've got a staircase throughout the building. The problem is that we need a cut in the floors. So if I go back into level 0, what we can do now is if we go into our modeling, we can look at openings and we can look at a shaft opening. I can look at the properties and say, well, look, the top constraint has to be up at the 23rd floor. I'll use my draw tools to simply sketch the shape for the cut that I want and finish the sketch. So now if I have a look at my 3D view, you can see the cut between my floors. So this means if I go into level 0 and actually perform my section tool, so if I drag that section line back, the building's going to appear as I actually expect it would. Now finally for this, because the designer and whoever's doing your conceptual designs reserve the right to change their mind, What happens if we don't like this design? We need to change it. Well, I'm going to hide this out. I'm going to select all the objects. I'm going to hide the elements and bring my mask back in. I'm going to select my mask and I'm going to go to edit. And I'm going to say let's edit the top. Okay, so let's make this less subtle. I'm going to do it in a 3D view here. So I'm going to bring the top back to here and bring it back a wee bit here and here and here. So I finished the sketch and I finished the mask. Bearing in mind our schedule will update. I'm going to hide out our floor masks again and reset the view. Okay, so what I can do with the walls is I can select all instances and go to remake, and it will remake all the walls. I can select one of the floor slabs, right click, select all instances, and again remake. Again, I can do the same for the roof. I can remake and do the same for the curtain system. Right click, I can go select all instances and remake. So we've got our conceptual design working fully with our actual design as well. Again, we can delete out any elements that aren't going to work in there. That's David Gawley from Pentagon Solutions. If you need a copy of any of these datasets, please email me at david@pent-sol.com. Thanks a lot. Hi, this is David Gawley from Pentagon Solutions, and I'm going to have a quick look at Revit Architecture 2009. One of the core features that is commonly overlooked is adding calculated totals into the likes of schedules. So what I have on the left hand side here is you can see my wall schedule, and I have a standard block wall. But you'll also see a figure giving me the total block count, which is commonly required by architects and designers. So if I create a similar wall, standard 100 block, you'll see that it's given me a running total of all my block walls in there. To see the properties of that and how that's created, if I go into the properties of the actual schedule and edit the fields, you'll see that I've got total volume for the wall, or it could be material takeoff, would probably be more appropriate. You'll also see I have a parameter in here called block volume, and that was just simply added by going add parameter and make sure the correct numerical value is in. But if we look at it, I've assigned this a value of 0.008, which might represent the actual block and mortar. Now I have a calculated value in here, so if I edit that, it's basically the volume of the wall divided by the block volume, and thus what that's going to give me is the total block work. Many thanks. This is David Gawley from Pentagon Solutions.